All right, let's unlock the secrets of the American accent today. We're going to take a deep dive into pronunciation, specifically those tricky vowels, the ones that can really make or break fluency.
Oh, you're so right. Vowel sounds are like the foundation of clear communication, but they can be super subtle, even for native speakers.
Exactly, and that's why we're here, to break those sounds down and give you some tools to improve.
So let's just start with the basics. Like, where do you put your tongue in your mouth? That placement, especially against your lower teeth, it makes a huge difference in the sound.
Ah, so it's like the control panel for all the different vowels.
Yeah, think of it like that.
Okay, tongue placement, got it. What else?
Your throat muscles, they're really important too. They're what pushes the air and sound out. So your vowels have that fullness and clarity.
It's a whole body experience, not just the mouth.
Right.
It's like a vocal workout.
Exactly. Now think about this. For some of those vowels, especially the bright, open ones, imagine making a smile shape with your mouth.
Oh, so smiling helps you pronounce better. I like that. Okay, let's move on to something that trips a lot of people up. Long versus short vowels.
Absolutely. Let's try the letter I. Say the words ice and if. Do you hear how the I in ice is longer? You use no breath. And in if, it's short, like a burst of air.
Yeah, and that small change makes a big difference in meaning. So how can we make sure we're getting those short vowels right?
Think about it as a strong, quick burst, like a punch of air.
Okay, quick punch. Got it. Now, what about other vowels? Is it the same idea?
Let's look at you, say group and double.
Okay.
See how the U sound changes length. And even your lips move a bit differently.
Yeah, I hear it.
Group, it's longer. And your lips round, double, it's shorter. Lips are more relaxed.
Wow, so even the lips matter. Now, this is where things get really interesting, even for native speakers. The sounds in American English, there are actually three different ones, right?
That's right, you've got the love sound, the America sound, and the oral sound. Tongue position and breath control are key here.
I'll admit, even I get those mixed up sometimes. Any tips for mastering them?
You've got to practice and pay close attention to your tongue. For love, your tongue is relaxed in the middle of your mouth. America, it moves back a little. And oral, it's way back there. And lower,
Sounds complicated.
it is, but you can get it.
It's like tongue choreography. Okay, before we move on, I want to talk about diphthongs. Two vowel sounds blended together.
Exactly. Think of a butterfly's wings fluttering, that smooth transition. That's how we say diphthongs.
I like that analogy. So how can we break those down?
Take the hair sound. It starts with E and glides into R. Boy starts with O and transitions into I.
So we got to recognize the two sounds and practice the glide.
Yeah, think of it like a vowel dance.
Graceful, I hope.
Ah, yes, graceful.
Now let's talk about common mistakes. Especially for non-native speakers, pitch and tone matter here, don't they?
Big time. Different languages have different patterns. Vietnamese, for example, often has a higher pitch, compared to American English, which is lower and rounder.
And I can really hear that in words like love or after.
Right.
The Vietnamese pronunciation is much higher,
Yeah, being aware of that helps.
so we can fine-tune our speech.
It's all about finding the right musicality.
That's a good way to put it. So for our listeners, what's the key takeaway?
Practice, but use something called spaced repetition.
Okay, what's that?
Practice those tricky sounds for a few minutes at a time, but do it multiple times throughout the day. That builds muscle memory.
Ah, so consistency over cramming.
Exactly, like a workout for your mouth.
5 minutes here and there can make a difference.
Absolutely, and don't be afraid to experiment. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
I love that. And to all our listeners out there, keep going. We're here with you. We'll be back after a short break to dive even deeper. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. We've got the basics down, so let's look at some specific sounds that can be tough.
All right, I'm ready for the challenge. Where should we start?
How about the short I, like in bit or ship? Super common, but tricky if you're not used to it.
What kind of mistakes do people make?
Well, I've noticed, like with Vietnamese speakers, they tend to say it with a higher pitch, or almost stretching it out like a long E.
So instead of bit, it sounds more like beat.
Exactly. You got to keep it short and crisp, like a flick of the tongue.
Short and sweet. Got it. What about the long E then?
Ah, yeah, that one can be tricky too. Sometimes people put their tongue in a slightly different spot.
Like where?
Say the word seat. That long E needs your tongue high and forward.
High and forward.
Yeah, and here's a trick. Think about smiling when you say it. It lifts your tongue naturally.
Okay, smiling and saying seat. I think I'm getting it. What's next?
Let's move on to the A sounds. There are a few variations, and they can be pretty tough.
Oh yeah, the A is like a chameleon. Sometimes it's cat, sometimes it's father. And then there's the A in bake. How do we keep track of all those?
You're right, it's a lot. Okay, so for the cat sound, it's short and relaxed. Keep your tongue low and relaxed.
Just let it flow, basically.
Exactly. Open your mouth wider for that one, like you're about to take a big bite.
Wide mouth, big sound. Got it. Now, what about bake?
That's the diphthong we talked about. It starts with the father A and transitions into the seat E.
Two vowels in one.
Yep, so what tongue has to glide from low to high?
Another vowel dance.
Exactly.
Smooth transitions are key.
You're getting it.
So we've done I, E, and A. What other vowel adventures are there?
How about O, those can be really tough, just like O. There are a few different
Oh,
ones.
yeah, I know what you mean. We've got hot, we've got open, and then there's often O. That one always throws me off.
Lots of O sounds to keep track of. It's all about the shape of your mouth and tongue. For hot, keep your mouth pretty relaxed, tongue in a neutral position.
So, pretty effortless?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, then what about open?
Open your mouth wire for that one. Round your lips like you're saying, oh, in surprise.
So the O makes a grand efference?
Exactly.
And now for the tricky one, often?
That's the aw sound. People mix it up with the short O a lot, but for O, your tongue goes a little further back.
Subtle difference.
It is, but it matters.
Any tips for that one?
Practice words like off, up, dawn, and really focus on where your tongue is.
Got it. Tongue placement is key. Okay, we can't forget about U. There are a few of those too, right?
You bet. We've got the short U, like in cup, the long U, like in flute, and then the O sound, like moon and food.
Okay, let's break those down. How do we say the short U correctly?
Tongue in the middle of your mouth, lips slightly relaxed, say uh-oh.
Uh-oh, I can do that. What about flute then?
For that one, move your tongue higher and round your lips more like you're making a kissing shape.
Pucker up for the long U. Got it. And lastly, how do we nail that ooh sound?
It's similar to the long U, but your tongue goes even higher, and your lips are really rounded.
Reaching for the stars.
Exactly. And remember, practice all of these. Don't be afraid to experiment. Have fun with it.
That's great advice. Learning a language should be fun. We've covered a lot, from a short I to reaching for the stars. Ooh. What final thoughts can you leave us with? Wow, we've really been through the vowels today.
We have. It's been quite a journey.
From OOs to puckering up, it's been a lot.
Yeah, but I think the big takeaway is the American accent is about those tiny adjustments.
Like fine-tuning an instrument, right?
Exactly.
You gotta get it just right.
And just like with an instrument, practice is key.
But it's not just repeating over and over.
No, it's about being mindful. Pay attention to your tongue, your lips. Really hear those subtle differences.
It's all about the details. So for our listeners who want to master this accent, what's the most important thing they can do?
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every time you stumble, that's a chance to learn.
Oh, I know what you mean. Those aha moments when you finally get it right.
Exactly. It's so satisfying. And remember, this is a journey, not a destination. You're always refining your ear, your muscle memory.
So it's on go.
Yeah, and the more you hear those sounds in movies, music, conversations, the more natural they become.
So it's about immersing yourself.
Exactly. Make it part of your life.
And the best part is, the more confident you get, the more you can just enjoy talking.
That's what it's all about. Connecting with people, sharing ideas.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to all our listeners, keep going. We're proud of your dedication. We're here to support you.
Keep practicing, keep experimenting, and most importantly, have fun.
It should be enjoyable.
And remember, even native speakers are still learning. It's a lifelong process.
It really is fascinating. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of American English vowels. We hope you learned something valuable today and that you'll keep honing your skills. Until next time, happy speaking.